All right, so we're starting our recording now. I'm so excited for you to be with us here today. Thank you for joining us for our next video in our Getting Started series. So today we're talking about groups, and I'm going to be jumping right into the account and showing you how to create groups, how to manage groups, how to add and remove people so that you can navigate and use those easily. So let me just share my screen with you, and then we'll get right into it.
And Jen, just a quick thing to point out, just keep in mind when Jen's showing you this, this is all the desktop online version. It is going to look a little bit different on our mobile app.
Yeah. So I was going to say, the first thing you need to do is go ahead and log into your desktop account. To receive the full access of all the wonderful features of your Skipio account, you want to log in on the desktop. Now, we love the mobile companion app, and it has so many of the great features and the most used features that we need with us when we're on the go, right? But for some things, you will need to log into the mobile app. Now you can manage and create groups, to the desktop app. You can manage and create groups from the mobile app, but we're going to demonstrate today on the desktop so that you can see how to navigate that. So the first thing you do is log in at app.skipio.com, and you'll see on the left side is your navigation bar, and the address book is going to be that fourth icon down that says contacts. So we're going to click on that, and this is where we'll create and manage groups. So let's talk about just the basics of creating a group. If I just want to start and create my own group, I'm going to go up here to this drop down groups option at the top. So I click on that and I select create new group. Then I'm going to give the group a name. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now, if I know who I want in this group and I want to add them right now, I can just click add contacts, select the people that I'd like to add. I can even search names here by typing up there if I want to find a certain person. And then once I've selected the people to add, I hit confirm, and then I'm going to go ahead and click save. Now that group will appear over on the left-hand side. Now let me show you a little bit about this left side menu here. All contacts is at the top, and then groups, if you click that drop down, these are all the groups that you've created. So any groups that you created will show here, and the little yellow highlighted number here is the number of people in the group. If we close that little drop down, you can see system groups. System groups are the ones created by the integration, and they're also managed by the integration. So you cannot alter or delete a system group. It's something that is totally maintained by that InTouch integration. But that's where, if you are on Gold or Platinum, you'll see those activity status groups there. Or if you're on Silver, you'll see just your customer groups there, so you can access those different groups that are created and maintained by the system there. So, but let's go back to the groups we've created. So I created the Cool People I Like group, and I've got the Gen demo in there that I added. So let's talk about if I want to add people to this group later, or if I want to remove people from this group that I've created. So let's go to all contacts, and let's say I want to add a couple more people to that group I've created. What I'm going to do is just click the checkbox next to their name, and then I'm going to click that same groups dropdown, and I'm going to see a list of all my available groups here. All the ones that I've created are here. Now, if I see a check mark that is solid, that means that all the people I've selected are in that group. If there's no check mark, then none of the people I have selected are in that group. And if there's a dotted check mark, that means that some of the people I have selected are in this group and some are not. So this is the place where you're going to easily add these contacts to a group or remove them. So in this case, I want to add them to that group I created, the Cool People group. So all I'm going to do is just click the checkbox there. And all three of these contacts that I have selected are now added to that group. And you can see now that there's a solid check mark. So if I wanted to remove them from that group, I would do it in the same way. I would just unclick so that there's no check mark whatsoever. And then that's going to remove them from that group. So adding and removing to a group is that simple. So let's just review real quick. I'm going to click the checkbox next to the name in the address book, click that drop down menu there, and then I can add them to any of these groups. And I can even add someone to multiple groups at one time. I can go ahead and go, oh yeah, I need them in these few different groups. And you can see the little confirmations on the bottom left that they're being added to those groups. And again, in the same way, I can just remove them by unchecking. So adding individuals or multiple contacts to a group or removing them is that easy. So if I go down into this Cool People group, I had added those people and removed them. Actually, let me throw a couple more in there real quick. So now let me go down to that group and refresh here. And now I've got those people that I added. Now, if I wanted to remove them, I'm inside the group again. I can just check them, click on that group's drop down, and then I'm going to uncheck the group that they're a part of there. And you may have to refresh to see that change in the group once you have removed them. Okay, let's talk about how to remove someone from a group or add them to a group on the contact profile itself. So if I am in my address book and I can click on any contact's first name, that will pull open their profile. If I scroll down to the bottom of their information, I can see here any groups that they're a part of. So this person is a part of my English group and my VIP group. Here I can just click the X to remove them from a group. And then I do need to click save in order for that change to be made. And again, you'll see that confirmation in the bottom left there. If I want to add someone to a group here, I can just start to type the group name, and it's going to show me any groups that start with those letters. And I'm going to be able to go ahead and add them to that group by selecting which one I'd like. So if I just click this one here, and again, click save, they're going to be added. So there you can add or remove contacts from a group on the contacts profile. Okay, and then let's talk about, we did cover this in messaging, our Getting Started series that we talked about how to send a message, but I want to talk about sending messages to groups specifically, just to review this little information. So let's say I'm in my account. Let's go back to the front of the account. I come down to my address book and I want to send a message to a specific group. So let's click on Awesome Peeps. I always have great names for my groups, as you can see. And I want to send this group a message. So there's a couple of things. If I want to send a message to this entire group, I'm going to click on Message Group. It's going to open the composer and that entire group is there. Let's say you want to send it to most of the people in the group, but not all of them. In that case, I would need to use the send message option instead of message group. Like I said, we did cover this in our training about sending messages, but when we're talking about groups, I feel like this is important to cover. So if I want to send it to most of the people, but not everybody in this group, what I'm going to do is start by selecting all the contacts. And I can do that by checking the box next to the top contact, scrolling down to the bottom, and while holding the shift key, clicking that bottom contact. That's going to select everybody in between. Now I'm just going to remove the couple of people that I didn't want this message to go to. Now, instead of clicking message group, I'm going to click send message. And when I do, when the composer opens, it will only have the recipients that I had selected over here that this message will go to. Now, regardless of selection or not, if I click message group, this message is going to everyone in this group. It ignores the selection. This message group button ignores all selection and messages the group that you're inside of. So you can see right here that it's selected that whole group. So again, if I want to disclude some of the people from this group, I'm going to want to select them all, unselect the ones I don't want to send to, and instead of message group, I want to click send message. So that's a couple of just little important tips on messaging those groups. All right, so we've gone through how to create the groups with the drop-down box, how to add and remove contacts from those groups, how to add and remove contacts to a group on their profile. And let's talk about one last easy way to make groups. I can go ahead of time and select contacts and go to that same groups drop-down, and instead of create new group, I can do create new group from selected contacts. So let's talk about, I just thought of, if we were doing that, that scenario where we talked about before, where we said, you know, I want to message most of these people, but not all of them. And so I had unselected some and I had sent them a message, right? And I think, you know what, I actually need this group of contacts to be their own group. So I can talk to just that group of people. Because I have them selected here, I can just go to that groups drop down, create new group from selected contacts, and now I can make another group. Awesome Peeps 2, and then just save. And then that's just that selection that I had because I thought, oh, you know, I want those in a group too. So that's another easy way. When you've got people selected, you can go to create groups or create new group from selected contacts. All right, so those are all the quick ways to create a group and manage those groups, to bring those contacts in and out of the groups, and then the important little tip on messaging the group. So that's everything we wanted to cover today about groups. Do we have any questions, Jana, that we didn't answer, or anything that we wanted to answer live?
So we actually do not have any questions. It's
Great.
pretty quiet today. So
Okay.
now's your chance if you do have a question. Otherwise, I did post in our chat that, just as a reminder, we have the training recorded usually by the end of the week on our playlist, and you can find that link in the Resource Center.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for being here with us today. If you think of something right after we sign off, because that's usually when I think of my important questions, go ahead and reach out to us and support. Check out that Resource Center article to access that. And then remember that you can review this recording anytime on our YouTube channel. Thanks everybody for being here, and have a great day.
Thanks, Jen.